Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jay from Revolution Radio, and I wanted to talk about vaping. It is pretty much in the news daily now, and as a vapor myself, I felt like it was my responsibility to talk about this. As much as I spend time talking about immigration and the geopolitical environment of the Middle East, maybe take 5 seconds to talk about something that impacts me on a daily uh, basis, and I'm sure as well as other people. So, about a week ago, um, we saw, well, actually a little bit longer than a week ago, but a week and a half ago, we saw Donald Trump announce that he was going to do a flavor ban. Now, this flavor ban is a result of a few things. One, and this is the big one, uh, kids being able to access vaping, and I guess ultimately what they said, more kids are vaping. The numbers just keep going up, and that's true. Subsequently, kids smoking cigarettes is actually going down. But here's their logic, and I'm sure in some cases this does happen. Kids are vaping, and then they're turning to cigarettes. Um, I don't see this as happening. It's a whole gateway drug thing, you know. Oh, you're gonna do weed. Well, then you're gonna be on crack, which it's not as dramatic of a difference, but it's the same ideology, I think. Um, because there again, the ban then doesn't make a lot of sense. But we'll get into it. Most of this talk came on the, I don't know, it definitely got pushed to the forefront. I will say that after this lung disease scare has happened, and like 520 cases of it. I believe there's been up to 8 deaths now. And honestly, as a vapor, it got me not only engaged, but also very concerned. So I looked into all of these, and I would hear on news channels that vaping has killed another person, and vaping has caused these people to end up with really bad lung disease. And there's 20-year-olds who now have 80-year-old lungs. And so holy Christ, what's happening? Looked into it deeper, and really not even that much deeper. I would just read the articles that they were citing, and as I read into them, the one thing that they tried to tie in was the jewel pods and stuff like that. It's not even the jewel pods. It's a pod system that is filled with a different chemical. Um, Probably a synthetic marijuana. A lot of times THC was brought up in this. A majority of these people that have the problem have known to vape THC, and a lot of that is a synthetic form. So we're talking about a completely unregulated market, and for the most part, just coming straight off the black market. I don't understand why there hasn't been a big rush to this. Um, Not only here's the proof here is that not only is it making a lot of money, obviously, because it's spreading like wildfire, so it's not even being taxed. So the state government, they're not getting their share, but it's big. They're not coming down, they're not cracking down on it. I haven't heard anyone say, oh, we're going to go after these black market THC carts and THC pods. I haven't heard anything about that. It's very weird because there again, it's the majority of the cases that have this THC. And might I just say, as a person who's lived in America my entire life, they've always wanted to villainize THC, and they're passing on it. They have a pretty strong argument to say that the vaping of the stuff is horrible. They could, I mean, I think it would be easier to twist that than it is vaping nicotine. Because the majority of the people who are looking into this are finding the same thing I am, and that, well, there's nothing here. Your story, your case, the people who's referenced in here aren't even talking about using a sub-ohm tank or a mod. I rarely ever even see the word mod, which is the battery system. You know, the big old, like, looks almost like a cell phone for some people, and it has a light up screen, and it makes these loud noises. You know, that a majority of vapors actually use. None of that's ever referenced. Again, I haven't seen juice. Oh, this person was vaping this juice and it caused that. The one thing I have seen a lot of is vitamin E acetate. That's what's one common chemical found in all of this. By the way, not found in vape juice. Majority. I mean, I'm gonna say somewhere of like 99%. I'm just guessing, but I know how vape juice is made. I know that every place that you can get it that I'm aware of, and trust me, I've got some very deep connections in the vape industry. They all let you know what they're putting in there. And for the most part, it's natural extracts like your strawberry, your raspberry, your vanilla, whatever, that are perfectly safe. Been vaping them for, decades now. PG, just propyl glycerine, and vegetable glycerol, and nicotine, of course, if you want. But to say that is the problem, even though there are ingredients that are labeled directly what they are, it it's weird. It's weird that that's the market they're going after. Again, they have a million and one reasons to go after the black market, and I'm not exactly for this idea, but tend to go after the THC. So let's go further down on vaping and the vape industry. Um, Majority of the vaping, Juul gets a bad name for going after kids, and there are a few companies who I have heard have done some, I would say, nefarious marketing. One of them being Vupu. It was reported they were targeting children, or teenagers in in the UK, I believe. And it's interesting though because the response from vapors, I myself, I didn't carry Vupu gear anymore. Many of my friends who are also vapors, since they found that out, they're not messing with Vupu. No, I don't want anything to do with it. It's a very big shot against the real vape community to go after kids because we don't want kids vaping. Not at all. It has nothing, like, honestly, it's just about being a good person, and we know what government can do, and we don't want the government to come after us. So we're going to protect our house, so to speak. And the kids, unfortunately, are enemies to that house of vaping. So we don't want them in. We don't want anything to do with them. Another interesting thing is almost every vapor will tell you if you say, "Man, I'm really thinking about vaping," and the first question they'll ask you, how much do you smoke now? If you answer, "Oh, I don't smoke," vapors will tell you, "Don't start vaping." I mean, if you absolutely have to, then go no nicotine. Don't think about adding nicotine to that. It is purely, purely for people who have been smokers. And we've seen our lives change with vaping. Aside from the fact that you have places like in Europe where vape shops are connected to hospitals because they want to get people off cigarettes. And they say, the EU has said many times that vaping is 95% safer than smoking. Okay, that's fact right there. Um, we all had to deal with that, right? And then there's the other side of smoking: the smell, the cost, the stains you get on your teeth, on your fingers. That again, that permeating smell in your car, your clothes, all those things. We found vaping, and it was a new thing. It was, hey, I think I might be able to quit this nasty habit now. And to give you an idea what vaping has done for someone like myself, one cigarette has 18 milligrams of nicotine in it. One cigarette. I was about a pack and a half a day smoker. I wouldn't, maybe just a pack, but it depends if I was drinking or not. But at least a pack. I now vape about 0.75 nicotine. Not 1.5, not 3, no 0.75. Um, and which is incredibly low. I don't even um, since I make my own juice, I can set that nicotine, but I don't think if I ordered it at a shop they would even know how to do that. It's such a low amount, and I don't need it. I don't need that 18 million. In fact, the idea of smoking a cigarette, that head high that you get, and that kind of, I don't know, almost nauseous feeling. Yeah, I'm scared of smoking a cigarette now. But it really did revolutionize the way that we quit smoking. And Donald Trump saw, at the time, it was 6 people had died. And lo and behold, look, we all, a good chunk of us know Donald Trump doesn't research anything. So there's hope that, oh, well, once he connects the dots, he won't do this ban. Come on, let's get off that, okay? Because sorry, no offense to him, to any conservative people out there, but Donald Trump is an idiot. He doesn't research anything. Um, he's even said that, by the way, so that's not me taking him out of context. Remember when he had that negotiation with Kim Jong Un? Oh, I don't prepare for anything. Yeah, he doesn't prep. He doesn't research. So get that out of your head. The only thing that we can do is arm the community, our communities around us, arm um, everyone we know, and then let that grow from people who've been telling us forever, hey, oh, I think it's bad, to the people who support it. Arm them with knowledge. That's what we got to do. If we let the American people know the truth, they will fight it because they are not in favor of cigarettes any more than than we are. And they will spread the news, especially if we let them know this is a big conspiracy against vaping. People love that stuff. They love to share that on Instagram and Facebook. But let the truth catch fire. You know, expose some of these companies like Truth.com for making money off the backs of something that is life saving. Because here's the other thing. Aside from the fact that the vaping community doesn't want kids vaping, there's other ways that we can keep kids away from vaping. Namely, change the age. Universally change it to 21 to use any tobacco products. Do you know why they don't do that? Because there are some states that do. But do you know why that's not a federal thing? Because the number of tobacco users goes down dramatically. And Philip Morris does not want that to happen. So that's the first thing that you could easily do. Um, and then the other argument is kids are gonna get into what kids are gonna get into, and that's true. And on this vaping thing, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because, well, then if that's the problem, if the flavors are the problem, which by the way, I'm a custard guy. I like a lot of different custards. namely in the vanilla, the cinnamon. It's kind of more dessert flavor. Um, a lot of people that I know love the fruity flavors, cereal flavors, whatever. But if that's the problem, and that's what's making kids vape, then why shouldn't we also go after alcohol flavors? You go into any liquor store, go check out the vodka wall. Cotton candy, green apple, grape, raspberry. Even whiskeys are coming up with different flavors. Beer. I saw strawberry lemonade beer recently. Okay, let's shut all that down too. I mean, if we're gonna be fair about it, and let's also just compare some stuff here. Which by the way, I'm gonna argue tooth and nail that vaping has not claimed 8 lives. But let's go with that false narrative that vaping claimed 8 lives in over a decade. Every year, 3,150 children are killed by guns. So by that mark, let's ban guns. By the way, um, kids have a much easier access to guns than they do vape. Meaning a child can go into a store where you can purchase guns or purchase it or find it from a family member, but they're allowed at least in the store. In a vape store, they're not allowed. Children are not allowed in there, but they're allowed anyway. So 3,150 children die of guns. Smokers, annual people that die of cigarettes, 480,000 a year cigarette. 8 people over a decade, and I will tell you that 8 is not true. But no, let's not ban cigarettes. And just like I was saying before, it makes no sense because one of the things they keep saying is vaping will lead to cigarettes. Okay, then why aren't we banning cigarettes? That seems to be a if that's the big nightmare scenario that they're going to go to cigarettes, then why not take the nightmare scenario out? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. You can go down the line. I'm not going to waste your time with this, but you can go down the line and you can find a million other things that will kill you at a higher rate than vaping. But no bans, no talk about restrictions, no nothing. Let it go. This is America. We're free, right? Well, I guess unless you're a vape shop owner or a vapor. The couple things that we can do to really stop it, and I will put a phone number in the description of the video so that people know. But call the White House. Tell them that, number one, let them know that you're not going to keep voting for a president who keeps putting so many restrictions on our rights. Vaping is just one casualty that we're seeing and one that we're talking about. Another thing that keeps getting restrictions put on it is guns. No president has put so many restrictions on guns as Donald Trump has. He is not what everyone says he is. He is not for freedom. But that phone number to call the White House is 202-456-1414, and I will post that in the description as well. Call them, let them know that you're against what they're trying to do, and get them to change their mind. The other thing is to start a social media campaign telling Donald Trump you're going to purposely not vote for him because of this ban, because it's a stupid ban. Now, if you're going to vote for him or not, who cares? But for vaping's sake, get that campaign started. He'll look at it. They'll pay attention. I guarantee you, if enough of us get together and push this narrative that he's taking our rights away, which he is, and he is not going to get your vote, especially I'm talking to you libertarians out there, all of you independents out there, this is your fight. This is your fight, and the only way you can make your voice heard is to say you will not vote for this guy if he does this. And trust me, that's a really big gamble for me. So if if you're gonna say, oh, you're doing this so you won't vote for Trump, no, no, we have to say vaping, okay? So in this regard, um, if he listens to the people, pulls back all these restrictions, you know, then at least we know we have a president who does well with threats, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to get into the president stuff, but for anyone who's not really versed on what's happening in vaping, this is what's happening, and it's being really, really pushed on vaping and e-liquid and Juul, and none of it has anything. None of these deaths have anything to do with it. When I've looked down all of the people who've claimed this lung disease, almost all of them have talked about um, using THC, and many in states where it's not legal. So you have to assume that they are purchasing it online. So much of this stuff is coming in from China. If you buy your vape gear, your vape juice at your local vape shop, everything will be fine. There shouldn't be a problem at all. And if they want to put restrictions to the point where that's what you do, then that's fine. That I'm even okay with. But I don't really talk about what I do during the day, but I do own a vape shop, and I can guarantee you, in the last 4 years, I've not sold to one person under 18. In fact, we changed our age to 21, even though in our state it's still 18. But that's how committed we are to getting children off or away from vaping. I am actually part of a coalition that is committed to stop children from vaping, and everything is made in a clean room. Nobody has reported any illness, and I have the same customers. I live in a fairly small town, so you know you're safe if you're going to your local shop. We're checked, we're regulated, the state's on us. So yeah, anyone who's just not sure about the vaping thing, it's not what they're saying it is. And if you vape THC, be careful. And that's one thing no one's talking about, and everyone needs to. If you vape THC, don't cut corners, don't order stuff online. I think that's a pretty strong thing. If you're gonna consume anything, just don't get it offline. You really don't know where it's coming from. I mean, unless it's like cheese of the week or something. But if you do vape THC, get it from Colorado, get it from a reputable source. Look, if you're in a place where it's illegal to do it, that sucks, man. That sucks if that's what you need, but don't risk it. Don't risk catastrophic injury to your lung for a high. Um, again, vote, maybe get it legalized in your state. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. I'm really curious to hear your opinions and your thoughts on this situation. You can find me on Facebook, Jay Dillon, JayDylan. Twitter, it's JC Show VIP. Find this podcast on YouTube under the Community of Ideas. There again on Twitter and Facebook, I share them daily. Spotify, iTunes, and Anchor and Google Podcast, it is Revolution Radio and or Zach Dillon, ZAKKDILLON. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good evening.